Okay, hi guys, welcome to today's video. Let's go ahead and get started. We are starting with number 10. We are simplifying radicals using prime factorization. Now I'm just going to jot the prime numbers up here for us to take a look at if we need to. So the most common prime numbers that you'll see when we're doing this are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. There's more, but those are the most common ones. Okay. Starting with number 10, the square root of 12. This is not a perfect square, so we are just simplifying, okay? We are making a factor tree and we are simplifying. So we need to say two numbers that multiply to give me 12. I'm going to use 6 times 2. Anything that's prime, you need to circle. So 2 is prime. 6 is not prime. You can still do 3 times 2. Circle, circle. Those are both prime. So that's step 1, is to make a factor tree. Next, draw a new radical and put your prime factors underneath the new radical. So a 3 times 2 times 2. Alright, now you look for pairs of the same number. So circle these pair of 2's. Okay, for each pair that you have of the same number, you need to cross it out and put 1 of that number outside the radical. So I have a pair of 2's here, so that means that 1 2 goes on the outside. The reason why that is because when you do 2 times 2, that gives you 4, and 4 is a perfect square. So under here, if you put 4, and if 4 is a perfect square, the square root of 4 is 2. So the reason why 2 times 2 is 4, the square root of 4 is 2, that's why 1 2 comes out. And then the 3 does not have a pair, so he stays inside. And you get 2 root 3. 2 times the square root of 3. That is your simplified version of the square root of 12. Okay, let's move on. Number 12 is the square root of 108. That's a bigger number, so I'm not really sure, just off the top of my head, what I can multiply to give me 108. So I'm going to use my calculator. Now, if I do 108 divide by 2, that gives me 54. Okay, so that means that 54 times 2 is 108. So you can use your calculator if you get stuck. Just try to divide stuff and see what works. So 2 is prime. Okay, 54. Again, that's still a kind of a big number. So I'm going to do 54 divided by 2 again and see what that gives me. As long as it's not a decimal, you're good. 27. So that means 27 times 2 is 54. Okay, circle the 2. We could try 27 divided by 2. But that's 13.5. And I don't want any decimals. I want whole numbers only. So let's try 27 divided by 3. That's 9. So 9 times 3 gives me 27. Circle the 3 because it's prime. And then for 9, you can do 3 times 3. Okay, this one's a bit longer than the last one. So draw your new radical sign, make it big enough to put all your prime factors under, and do 1, 2, 3 3's and 2 2's. Okay, looking good. Now let's find pairs of the same number. So I got a pair of 3's here and a pair of 2's here. So for each pair that I have, one of those numbers is going to go on the outside. So I have a pair of 3's here, so a 3 goes out, and a pair of 2's here, so a 2 goes out. Now remember, those get multiplied together. So remaining inside is 1 3, And on the outside is 2 times 3, which is 6. So 6 times the square root of 3. Okay, moving along to number 14. The square root of 50. Okay, numbers that end with 0 are always divisible by 10. So 10 times something is going to give me 50. Now, I happen to know that it's 10 times 5 gives me 50. Like I said, a little bit of multiplication fact knowledge is going to go a long way here. So 10 times 5, the 5 is prime. For 10, it's not prime, and you need to multiply 5 times 2. And those are both prime. Okay, once you circle both, once everything is circled and there's nothing that's not prime left over, then you can move to the next step. So I have a 5, and a 2. Circle the 5s, because you have a group of 2, and put 1 5 on the outside. And on the inside, you just keep 1 2. Okay. Number 16. The square root of 28. Now, we did do this one as our example in class, so if you still have it in your notes, you can copy it. If not, it wouldn't hurt to just do it again. Okay. For 28, you can do 14 times 2, or you can do 7 times 4. Let's do 7 times 4. 7 is prime, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So that's your factor tree. Draw your new radical and put your prime factors underneath. Circle your pair, cross out your pair, and put one of those numbers on the outside. So you get 2 root 7. That's it. Remember, you can pause the video. If I'm going too fast, you can pause it and write down what you're seeing. Okay? Don't try to rush. Pause it, watch it as many times as you need to. Okay, so 18 is the square root of 72. And all this should be on a separate paper, guys. Don't try to squish everything in on here. You really need to write it on a separate sheet. Okay. For 72, let's just see, because I don't know how good you guys are with your multiplication facts. If you do know what multiplies to give you 72, that's fine. But let's just pretend that you didn't. You could do 72 divided by 2, and that gives you 36. So that means 36 times 2 is 72. Okay? Circle the 2. And then for 36, that's 6 times 6. Neither one of those is prime, so you need to do 3 times 2 for those. Because 3 and 2 are prime. Okay. I like that factor tree. It looks cool. Okay, new radical. I try to put the same numbers together so it's easier for me to look for pairs. So I'm going to look and see I have 3 2s and 2 3s. Okay, there's all my prime factors. Double check it. Make sure you got them all in there. 3 2s, 2 3s. Circle your pairs. And then cross out your pairs and put one of those numbers on the outside. So I'm going to have 1, 2 times 1, 3. And then on the inside, just a 2. 2 times 3 is 6, so we get 6 root 2. Okay, number 20, last one. 150. Let's see how many times 10 will go into 150. So let's see, 150 divide 10, 15. So that means that 15 times 10 is 150. Neither one of these are prime, so we have to keep going. For 15, it's 5 times 3. For 10, it's 5 times 2. Now all of these are prime, so I'm circling them all. And then you can move to step 2. Draw your new radical and put all your prime factors underneath. I have 2 5s, a 3, and a 2. Only have one pair here. I just have a pair of 5s. Cross out your pair of 5s and put a 5 outside the radical. And inside you still have 3 times 2, which needs to be changed to a 6. So you get 5 square root, 3 times 2, 6. 5 times the square root of 6. Okay, hopefully this practice helped. We're going to keep on practicing tomorrow. And that was it. So message me on Talking Points if you have any questions. Bye, guys.